Good morning and welcome to the second songwriting workshop. Today what I thought we might do is to look at alternate tunings, just as a concept. What is it about alternate tunings that makes life easier for a songwriter, if that's what it does? It certainly seems to have encouraged people like Joni Mitchell, Jackson Browne, not Dylan. Dylan was not a man that used alternate tunings. But there seems to be something in alternate tunings that is interesting from the perspective of songwriting. And what I think it is, it opens new melodic possibilities. So my guitar's now in drop D. So that just means the guitar is tuned normally in all respects except that the bass string is tuned down to D. That sets the guitar up into a lower register with that lower bass note. Very rich, very resonant. I've always thought that a guitar does, I sometimes have my guitars tuned permanently in the normal relationship, but one stop down. And then guys like Stevie Ray Vaughan famously would always be in E flat, and one of the reasons for that is that E is actually quite a high register relatively for the blues. So being an E flat for a guy like Stevie Ray Vaughan might have made that more accessible to him. But let's get back to alternate tunings. The fact about drop D is that it is a particularly rich, resonating key within which to play. So what I thought I would do, and forgive me if I don't give you detailed instructions on the fingering. You might contact me if you wish. If you can't see what I'm doing with my left hand and you'd like to know, please contact me and I'll be very happy to tell you. So I'm trying to squeeze as much info into this to interest you in the prospect, in the concept of drop D, without necessarily going through the routine of the fingering, the detailed fingering, which would be very time consuming. So what I'm going to do is going to run through some chords and some embellishments of those chords in the key of drop D, which might excite you from the perspective of songwriting, bearing in mind that what we are hoping to do here is to fiddle around with some chords in drop D, which will give rise to a melody that will give rise to a song. That's what we're setting out to do. I mean, we've come here to this rock in the forest to sit and hopefully come away with a song. And how do we even start? Well, what I'm suggesting is today we are starting by being tuned in a different way. We're in drop D now. So let's see where that takes us. That's the G to an F sharp. Well, I like that. Not really a full F sharp minor, because what I'm doing, I'm cheating. I'm playing all the notes of an F sharp minor except that I've left the D open. So this is an F sharp minor chord with a D note in it, and the reason I'm doing that is because it's actually easier to play that way, and it also, interestingly, gives us that beautiful melodic juxtaposition between the G and then E minor 7th. Now, isn't that amazing? And again, it's not really an E minor. My first finger is sitting on the 2nd fret, giving me the E note for the E minor. But I've added a B note. So just to review, G, F sharp minor, E minor, to A, so that's A, but I'm doing a little rundown from up here. bottom line is we have 4 chords: the D, the G, the F sharp minor, the E minor, and the A. And let's say this is all we could actually do. So I'm alternating by playing that top notes, dropping down to from the D to the C sharp, to G, to the E, and then go again. You would not stumble on that if your guitar was tuned in the standard way and you were playing in the key of D. You wouldn't be able to do all that bass stuff in that readily accessible way. So the thing to stamp into the mind is that G chord, which is a new shape. So usually if you're playing from D to G, and you can hear that wrong note, there's the right note. And that takes some getting used to. Takes some getting used to swinging your pinky and ring finger all the way up here to the fifth fret. Okay, and then just slide that whole thing down. 1, to E minor, and the E minor, as I said, it's got the E bass note, which is on the 2nd fret of your thickest string, which is usually the E string. That's why you don't have to play it for E minor, it can just be open. But in this tuning, we have to fret it on the 2nd fret in order to give us the bass E note. And that 2nd note is the same note that you would normally play in an E minor on the A string, to back to the D. The introduction to a song called Ubud, which is all around drop D. So that whole guitar part lives around drop D. That's what makes the song work at all. To the G. Next time we'll talk about Dadgad. Have a good day. Cheers.